Woo!
All right, what's up? This is Zack with Zack Talks Magic Cards, episode. It says 3, but this is really 4, featuring Joe Hofmann,
Hello.
and we've got our guest of this week, Rachel Weeks.
Hey, everybody.
So we got some stuff to talk about. Rachel, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm a co-host on the Comedy Commander podcast, The Commander Sphere. And my co-host is Dan Sheehan. A lot of people know him from his Not a Wolf Twitter account, so he's hilarious and it's a lot of fun. And then I also design playmats for Inked Gaming, which is how a lot of people found me initially.
Those playmats are dope. I keep meaning to
Thanks.
order one of the stained glass there's one with like Ugin and Bolus on
Yeah,
each. Yeah, that's the one I want.
that's my new baby. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
The Feldegrif one is also very impressive.
It is.
Thank you. That was the first one I made because I didn't like a lot of the options for Feldergriff in the wild. So
Yeah.
So,
I made something a little more majestic.
how do you make these? If you don't mind going into your process a little, because I'm just curious. Is this
Sure.
just like a Photoshop thing, or?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff I'll do like a rough sketch by hand, and then I do it on the computer. I base a lot of the designs on obviously the card art, which I have to recreate or twist to fit whatever I need it to fit.
Right.
I also use inspiration from a lot of existing stained glass. Obviously, I'm not a stained glass artist, so I'm learning a lot about what sizes the pieces have to be and sort of what arrangements look nice and to make sure that it actually looks like it could be a stained glass window. So it's been uh, a growing process for sure, but it's a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
really happy with how Ugin and Bolus turned out.
Yeah, it's real awesome. I learned some stained glass stuff myself the other day when I did an adult coloring book. Like stained glass thing of the Wu Tang
That's
thing.
all it is.
Wu Tang.
Do you have a Wu Tang Clan stained glass coloring book?
No, I just printed the picture off the internet, and then I used my pencils to actually my sister's Prismacolors to do it, and then I got
Oh,
some.
okay.
I was like,
This
oh,
is the best.
I know, I love them. I just got my pack of like those little paper pusher shader things, and like a little putty eraser. I'm super stoked.
That would be a cool Patreon
And
reward.
there's
I-
What were you gonna say, Rachel?
thing quick like there's like good art supplies like using nice charcoal and nice and like an erase works. It's really fun. It's nice to do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the kind of person that
Can you
like,
guys hear? Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna like do it with nice stuff, right? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like half-ass it, right? Like
Yeah.
wanna do it. So what's been going on with
Whole
you?
laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you bling out all your decks?
I try to as much as I can, but I'm not like going to completely be like, oh, this deck, every card foil, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I'll get foil cards of cards that I would play in other decks possibly, just
Yeah.
because I keep decks for the most part. I just tweak them and stuff, but every once in a while, one's getting torn apart. Like my Tatiova deck is coming apart, so I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of like specific cards for that deck that are foil. I got
Yeah.
the ramp package.
Sure.
Joe, did you look at that deck I sent you?
No, I haven't looked at that one. That was the Brokos.
Yep.
Yeah, the Brokos, the borderless art for Brokos looks amazing. I think we
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
we were talking about some of those borderless arts that they have. They just look great.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with them. I want one of all. I want the commons that are in that
Yeah.
fall art, like pop art style. There's unbelievable.
I think the Narset looks amazing. Like,
Oh my gosh.
I
So
saw
cool.
that and I was like, this is dope and I want one. And then I saw how much it was and I was like, pass.
I will wait.
Yeah. I will wait for card prices to go down.
I've been trying to talk myself into the Porcu-Parrot.
Ugh, it's so sweet.
The
I was like,
Porcupine.
that has to like be good and something. Yeah, it's like a porcupine parrot, and when it mutates, it gives the ability to tap, and you deal damage for how many times that creature is mutated.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just a ridiculous creature type. It looks awesome though.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's
So both of those arts are very cool.
like I don't know. Like at first, I was very like, I don't because I remember when foils first came out and like Urza's Legacy, I think the one with the Erlenmeyer flask, and I was like, oh god, foils. Now I'm gonna have to get foils of everything, and I was like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god. At first, I was like, oh god, I'm gonna need extended arts of everything, but they haven't been that hard to come by, and I like it that because they're depressing the prices of regular rares, and I'm like, I can handle,
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Absolutely, especially for people that are playing standard or
Yeah.
any kind of not eternal format. It's so nice that some of those mythics aren't going to blow their wallet out.
Right. So I have to ask Rachel, are you having to
Mhm.
take flash out of any of your decks?
No, I did consider putting it in my Feldergriff deck, but
Not
it
anymore.
it I never actually put it in because I was like, the second I cast flash in this deck, I will lose all political sway I have with it for the end of time. It'll really ruin the sneakiness of my group hug deck.
Joe texted me that day and he was like, "Man, did you see the RC band Flash?" And I didn't. It didn't put like it was early in the morning for me, and
Yeah.
I was like, Flash as a mechanic? What? Vidalcan Ori is Josh Lee Kwai like freaking out, and then he was like, no.
Plummeting.
He's like the card Flash. And I was like, oh. I was like, the 8 of those I just bought. I should probably just put those in a box, pretend like they never happened.
Yeah, they weren't that expensive anyway.
No,
Yeah,
the
for
first
like
time I tried,
$2, I think.
yeah, it didn't go up too much. I think there were enough prints of it. The first time I tried to flash, I did it wrong. Like I just played flash, and then I was like, "Oh, I can go get Hulk now, right?" And they're like, "No, like, do you have it?" And I was like, "Well, I feel stupid. Like I'm gonna take."
That's definitely playing the Zack way, the Zack 75% theory.
Definitely did not read what that one did,
Right.
but I'm excited to read some of these cards that people have sent to us.
But before we do that, we want to thank our viewers for taking the time out to watch us jabber about random cards. It means a lot that you would spend that time, so we appreciate it. And with that, let's get into the cards. We ready?
I think so.
Okay. Here's the first one. It's Channel from Jacob Besh. You want to read it, Joe? Or you want me to?
Yeah,
Or-
I can. So this is channel. It's a sorcery. A green. It says until end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add 1 generic to your mana pool.
Isn't this card banned in EDH?
Super banned.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because like
wildly banned.
yeah, if I could use this card, I like Channel. I played back in the day when we played like straight up kitchen table Magic, just with cards we had. I had a channel ball deck. I was like,
Yeah.
I did it. I don't care. It was like burn and some green ramp, and I don't know, and it was super fun. But I'm gonna have to say, totally not playable.
Well, I assume you could play it with your kitchen group.
Yeah.
Not that you have a group of people just in your kitchen that you play Magic with.
I do.
But,
They just like hang out there. It's real weird.
yeah, if you have a food company, I'm stumbling on the words I'm trying to find right now, for your taco truck. If you want to play this with the guys that you work at with your taco truck.
Oh yeah, I do.
I
I do work at that taco truck.
I'm sure it's an acceptable card to be able to play there. Otherwise, yeah, when I saw this one, I was like, this feels broken. Like, are we gonna like open Pandora's box of brokenness?
Yeah, I mean, Channel, like, you've got 40 life in Commander. You
Yeah.
can make 39 mana on turn 1, like, pretty easily.
Yeah, like you pump all that into like a stroke of genius or something, and like draw your combo, and then play it, and then it's like, yeah.
I think there are some cards that are on the ban list for a reason, and despite it being completely gorgeous, I think Channel will stay.
Yeah. I love this
The art is unbelievable.
It is, and I like it. So we use a script to download all of our cards images that Ryan wrote, and it downloaded some other random art, and I was like, Nah, dog, that ain't happening. That's not
Yeah,
that's not my channel. So let's
yeah.
see what we got next.
It's sweet Rebecca Guay, Guay art, and all of her cards are super gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
like
Agreed.
oh, the
Sully
one
the
that you're
Nerd.
showing, the one that you're showing is somebody else. Yeah, that
Yeah,
cool. That
that's weird because I thought, man, now I don't know. I don't understand my life anymore.
both are
That's okay.
gorgeous. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So this is a Boros card, Rachel. You like Boros, right?
I'll play Boros. Sure.
You wanna read Depla Pilot Exemplar?
Yes, sir. It is loading still. Uh,
Stinking internet.
DePaula pilot exemplars for one, a red and a white. Other dwarves you control get +1/+1. Torbran, it's your time.
Yeah.
Each
Yeah.
vehicle you control gets +1/+1 as long as it's a creature. Whenever DePaula pilot exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library. Put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And she's a dwarf pilot, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I I didn't even realize that. Huh. This was submitted by Josh, and his question kind of was, how do we feel about this with like cards like Parhelion 2 and Rafflecopter and things like that for like a vehicle deck? Um,
Yeah,
I'd try it. Why not? Like,
Yeah.
DePaula is sweet. Um, and it's got the unique thing about being a Boros commander and having card advantage built in.
yeah,
It's not necessarily cheap card advantage, but it also no, it doesn't cheat it into play. It puts it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of the yeah, but there aren't many Boros commanders, especially combat-based Boros commanders that have card advantage built in.
right.
So to have some kind of selection on it is absolutely huge. So whether you want to build dwarves or pilots or a combination of or pilots or vehicles, um, I'd choose your gal, right?
I think so.
You could build a deck with her and what was it, the Dwarven Miner that came out in Eldraine? You can have like what, 7 of them in your deck, I think?
The seven dwarves, right?
Yeah, so they I feel like would be really good. It looks like somebody said Quest for the Jank Lord had a budget vehicle deck with Apollo. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
I I mean, I'm not a big Boros fan, but I am a big vehicle fan, so I would definitely try this. Like, I don't know. I think this is one of the cooler Boros cards.
There's some supers like there's some super sweet vehicles and there's some very
Yeah.
cool dwarves and I think I think this would be a cool build. I would absolutely build and pilot this. The one thing about Tapala that doesn't appeal to me quite as much as other Boros commanders, especially recent Boros commanders, is that it does seem like a pretty straightforward build.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
short list of playable vehicles. There's a pretty short list of playable dwarves. You run your Boros staples, and that's your deck.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like there's a
Sunforger.
lot of right. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of wiggle room for um, different types of stuff, but it does seem like it would be a really fun thing to build.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I started building a Tashar vehicles deck, and I think it's pretty sweet.
Did you finish
Have you got
building
to
it?
play that one yet?
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet, but I really like the idea of being able to cast a vehicle and then bringing something to crew it back from the graveyard.
Nice.
Yeah, that is dope.
So I'm figuring out what vehicles go into that, and what sort of there's a number of hate bears that are in it. The biggest problem is making sure that I have a creature's power high enough to crew the cool vehicles. So
Yeah.
Yeah, good
I
call.
think Jim from the Spike Feeders has this. What is it, like Bears and Cars deck? I think that
Oh,
he
was
has
like
bears
yeah.
and cars, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely it's hate bears. I'm trying to remember who the commander is though. I don't think it's Boros.
It's Joe's
I
mom.
think is it just Orzhov? Did he have the Konoros, the 3-headed dog?
Ooh, Orzhov sounds right. I don't remember who the commander is on that one. But it's such a sweet build. I love the idea of combining like some light stacks with such a goofy combat card like vehicles. I think
Yeah.
that's a cooler build for vehicles, but I think DePaula is probably your best vehicle commander. Also, a lot of the like red, like the vehicles matter cards are in red.
Yeah, definitely.
Word. All right, so let's see what we got next. This is from Lenny Woolley, friend of
Oh,
yours,
nice.
Joe. Have
Yeah.
you seen him play this card?
If I did, I forgot.
It's
This one is dominating listed. It's a blue and a blue for a summon listed. So I'm assuming that means it's a creature. Summon listed.
yeah.
Mhm.
It has an ability. You pay a blue, and you tap it. Dominating listed loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads: gain control of enchanted creature instead of any other type of permanent. Move dominating listed onto target creature. You may pay blue to end this effect.
Weird.
Yeah, it's
Ugh,
so
I
weird.
love these weird
Yeah.
old things.
Like I read this card and I
Okay.
was like, man, this is cool and weird.
So you cast it as a creature.
Yep.
You once it loses summoning sickness, it turns into not even an aura, just an enchantment that controls it. No, move dominating listed onto target creature, so it becomes an aura.
Yeah. So and you can take like
and you can
your
pay blue to
opponent's.
pop it off.
Yeah. And you can take an opponent. It doesn't say control of your creature or creature you control. Rather, it's like,
course.
oh, Joe has Fire Extinct Obliterator, my future child's name, and no, I'm gonna take it now. Give me my child back.
I'm interested when looking at the art of this card. Is that a face above his sword?
I cannot parse it. Is
it
in
the clouds
above his sword in the clouds? It does look like that. Either that or Mufasa.
Yeah,
it's probably
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
I guess he's saying remember.
Simba.
That one's really interesting. Yeah, that I haven't seen that card played. I might be interested in actually getting that one. That seems like that would be one of those. Wait, what does that do? And people pass it around and read it.
Yeah. It does seem a hair slower than other effects that are like this. But I do like that it's on a creature, so it's a little bit easier to recur. And it's got this wild art with he's got some kind of lobster hood.
Is that?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, is that the listed? What is a listed?
I don't know. Let me Google search that real quick. Right.
He also has a head tattoo, more like a forehead tattoo.
Like a forehead tattoo? Boy, I'm only getting lucid. No, listed.
Yeah.
Don't you have a forehead tattoo, Joe?
I do not. If you are watching this video, you can confirm that.
It's like a bug.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a sucky, like an alien face thing.
So it's like a face hugger and oh man.
But it's on the back of his head. So the listed is the red thing, not the dude with the tattoo.
I feel like I can't stop looking away from this guy. Like the more and more I look at it, the more I get sucked into it.
There are a number of other listeds in Magic. There's a green listed, a black listed.
Check this.
This is a white listed called Calming listed.
Check this out. This listed out. I'm pulling it over my video, but it's on the side of his. Oh God, what happened? It's on the side of his. It's on the side of his face. Like that's nuts. That is nuts.
Now I want to read all these listeds. The white one.
There's a storyline.
What if you could make like a listed tribal?
Yeah.
Move calling listed onto target. Okay, so the white one is essentially a pacify.
Okay.
The black one is upkeep of enchanted creature's controller deals 1 damage to that player. Okay, so it's like a pinger, but it attaches to an opponent's weird. Okay. What's the green one? All creatures able to block enchanted creature do so. So it's a lure, but you can put it on other people's stuff. A lure, sorry, depending on how you use it. A lure. Wild. Okay.
Yeah, that's something else.
There's a bunch
of
stuff.
The blue one does seem like the best one. What color am I missing? Where's the red listed?
I think there's 2 for each color from this site that I'm looking at.
Okay.
Let me see
You could absolutely do listed tribal.
So apparently there, according to this is MTG Wiki. There are currently 12 listeds right now in print. So
cool.
I don't know. You could probably get there. The let's see. The first red one, Enraging listed. Pay 1. It's 1 in a red. Pay 1 red. Tap. Enraging listed loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads: enchanted creatures unaffected by summoning sickness instead of a creature move. Oh yeah, and then 1 red to move it. So that gives haste.
Okay, so it's haste. It's repeatable haste.
Yeah.
Weird.
Good.
What's the other red one do? Um,
We should just talk about Lycids the rest of
Yeah,
this.
Yeah,
a
right.
transmogrifying Licid just turns something into an artifact, which is less good.
Convulsing Licid seems okay. This is the other red one. It's 2 and a red. You pay 1 red, tap it. Enchanted creature cannot block. That seems pretty good.
Yeah, solid. The other green one is neat. Nurturing Licid. It becomes an aura and it gives the creature green regenerate enchanted creature. So it's like you can tack a little regeneration thing on that. And also, it is Tony the Tiger
Oh, it straight up
with a
is.
Licid attached to it. So it's a
What?
anthropomorphic tiger.
What is this one?
Nurturing Licid. Which seems like it goes against what my understanding of illicit is, that it's nurturing.
Right. Well, so something interesting about these cards, here's nurturing listed.
It is Tony the Tiger.
But so with how these work, so you put it onto something, right? And then this one says, pay green. It gives the creature pay a green and regenerate the creature, and then a green to do it. So in response to someone destroying your creature, you regenerate it, hold priority, and drop it off. So you keep your listed.
Man,
Cool.
I might pick these up. These are kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
These are pretty sweet.
And they're pretty cheap too. Like the green ones, like 11 cents. Like, man, I'm on
What?
the Lissids. We should do a group deck build with the 3 of us for Lissid
I'm into
Tribal.
it. So it looks like half of the Licid set is stuff that you would want to put on opponent's creatures, and the other half is stuff that you want to put on yours.
Right.
So it's like the white one gives first strike, the red one gives haste. I don't know what the other black one is. Probably fear or some other.
Menace.
What's this? It can't be black. It's fear.
Okay.
Corrupting Licid. Green one's regeneration, the blue one's flying, and then the red one, the other half are all negative things you want to put on stuff. These are a super neat set. I've never seen these played, and I love that they're like so easy to reanimate.
Oh yeah. Get your animate dead or your entomb in there and just go to town. Thanks for submitting this, Linny, and letting us know about the Lissids. I feel like we need these in our lives.
Definitely.
So what do we got next? Oh my god, it's a white bordered card.
Gross.
Pharaoh's ban.
It's a white border stacks card.
Yeah, it is. You know what they say about people who play stacks. So Pharaoh's ban. It costs 6. That's a lot for this effect, in my opinion. But creature spells cost 2 more to play. I'd put this in Kenrith.
What Kenrith build?
I'm working on a Kenrith build that's called Pillow Stacks and Taxes. That's just all the nasty cards that like I want to play but don't allow myself to because I'm not a degen. But every once in a while I want to play a degen deck, and that's what this is gonna be. Because I've got like a training grounds for it. I'm gonna put that Boros cat in there. That's like training grounds 2.0, like Zerda. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Like I'm gonna pre-order a bunch of cards from my Korea to put in there. Yeah. But yeah, this is kind of a mean card. What do you think? What do you guys think?
This is exactly the opposite of my style of card. I'm a big creature player. Word. I just built an enchantment deck. I was like, this is my enchantress deck. I'm building one. I need one. And I looked at the list, and I still had 16 creatures in it, or 18 creatures in it, which seems still pretty high. So I usually try and make creature spells cost less, but there's definitely a deck for this.
Right.
It's just not on my lists.
I just hope to God that there's a black border version. The card puller thing doesn't check like versions or whatever, and I saw this and I was like, I could go get it, but I'm lazy and I'm running out of time. But this one was submitted by Anchor City at Anchor City Boots.
Cool.
Okay.
I imagine you can do boots there.
A note on the art: the fingernails of this human being are so dirty. It's horrifying.
Yeah, that's bothersome.
They've been digging in the dirt, Pharaohs.
I know in the chat, Ryan Sullivan said it could be good in a creature-only deck like Rurik Thar and Nakia of the old way. That could definitely be interesting.
In a creature-only deck?
Right. So I guess you're just casting creatures. Well, for Nakia, doesn't she double up your mana, but you can only cast creature spells?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to cast this with Nikki on the table.
Well, so with Rurik, isn't... Oh, he said that was for the Lycids.
Oh, I see. So in Rurik Thar, it makes it more difficult to cast the things that aren't going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sure. I do think that this would hurt you in a pretty major way.
What does Rurik Thar do? Isn't it whenever you cast non-creature spells, it
With
deals...
anybody.
Damage.
Yeah, but anybody?
Anybody, yeah.
See, I would play this in a Rurik Thar deck because, that means they'd play other things, not creatures. Or they would just hold their mana and pass turn.
Rurik Thar plays almost exclusively creatures.
I had Rurik Thar in my Rian Angel of Rebirth deck, and people definitely did not like when that one came out. And then when they removed it, they're like, well, crap, I have to try to remove Rian first, which means I'm going to take 6 just so we can't reanimate it. So that was kind of a fun puzzle to get, but not a lot of people like Rurik Thar.
I don't mind Rurik Thar as much because I think Rurik Thar is a neat card because he is stacksy, but he still allows you to cast what you want to cast. You just have to pay the toll a little bit.
Right.
But 6 damage is nothing to sneeze at. That's a serious chunk of damage.
Well, so I played when that was in standard. It was like RTR/Theros standard. And people would play... My friend John played that in his deck, and we'd get matched up at tournaments all the time. And, 6 damage when you have 20 life is pretty brutal.
That's nuts. Yeah.
So, let's see...
Rurik Thar can be countered, yeah? He doesn't have a can't be countered. That would be really bad.
I mean, he has more than 5 lines of text, I think, so I'd counter that.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Ryan Sullivan and the SHS Game Club. I believe he is in the chat. This card's Command Beacon. It's a land. You tap, add 1 to your mana pool. Tap, sacrifice Command Beacon. Put your commander into your hand from the command zone. I personally love this card. I think it's great. I wish, as far as I know, it's only had 1 printing. It may have been
pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's like $22-ish something dollars.
Yeah.
I have one from that. I bought the deck I buy all the commander decks, but I think this thing's great. With your higher casting cost commanders. Especially
stuff with big targets on your back that are gonna get removed a lot. Command Beacon is huge.
Yeah.
But of course, my first thought as a complete casual player is Phage.
Yeah.
So you could get Phage to your hand.
Definitely. This one's perfect in Phage. I know they just had a new one come out in the commander decks. I think it's just a black card, and that one would be perfect for Phage.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to get Phage out of your command zone.
What's Phage?
This one would also be really good for somebody said Command Beacon was great in Muldrotha. Yep, I believe that.
I believe that too.
Command Beacon is great too for Rurik Thar. Rurik Thar is 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's definitely going to get taken care of probably multiple times. So,
yeah. I think there's a lot of places that Command Beacon wants to live. It's just sort of a matter of if you can fit it into your mana base, how many colors are you playing, and do you want to spend $22 on this effect?
Yes.
But it is crazy powerful.
Yeah.
Anything that you can do to sort of get around the one limitation of your commander is obviously extremely powerful.
Apparently, Netherborn Altar is the one that you're looking for, Joe.
Yes.
Yep.
What does that do?
It's another sucks your commander into your hand.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It's a black enchantment or black artifact.
Oh, okay.
One of the two.
It is an artifact. Yeah, 1 and a black. Yeah. Tap it, put a soul counter on Netherborn Altar, put your commander into your hand from the command zone, then you lose 3 life for each soul counter on Netherborn Altar.
Huge. Man, I do kind of want to build Phage, and I know that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Phages is an old, expensive card that if you cast it, if it enters the battlefield from any place but your hand, you lose the game.
Oh.
So if you cast it from your command zone, you would lose. So you have to have a way to get it from the command zone into your hand in order to not immediately lose to Phage.
Gotcha.
Are a number of decks that she's very powerful in that won't kill you. Obviously, Lizov the Multifarious is a big one. And
Zack, hasn't Ryan killed you with Phage before?
Probably. What hasn't Ryan killed me with?
I thought he killed you with like a morphed Phage.
Probably. That seems about right. Well, yeah, because it comes into play as a thing. And it's already in play, and you flip it. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
That seems like a cool thing to do with Phage.
Not really.
To manifest it, pretty cool.
Yeah, because he has a manifest / what's the other morph deck. Like he built like a really like pimped out one with with Kadima. Yeah, it's really interesting because it's like, well, he has like something that let him like manifest a card off the top of his library like whenever. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, surprise blocker, surprise flip it up, and it's something disgusting.
My favorite version of a morph deck I've seen, obviously there's some really amazing Kadena decks, there's some really cool Animar decks that are all morph decks, but I saw a list online for a Zedru morph deck where you play a morph and you give it away as a little like present for them to unwrap.
That's cute. I like that.
It's cute. It's like a cute little like flavorful thing. I don't know how good it is, but you can be like, here's a little secret that just you and I share.
Yeah.
We're friends now, right?
Yeah.
I like decks cute. Like Zedru and Feldegriff, the kind of like different commander decks, because now I feel like, oh, we're definitely gonna play a game. Like a story's gonna come out of this. Yeah. Like it's gonna be an interesting game.
I'm a big fan of group hug. I'm a big fan of group hug decks that are built correctly. I think a lot of people, when they're building a group hug deck, are just going to slap every group hug effect into the deck. Yeah. And a lot of the time, either you're going to king make in a pretty serious way, so like whoever to your left is just going to automatically win, or you're going to just get blown out of the water so quickly. But I think there is a way to play group hug, and it's in a control minded way. It's very political, it's very targeted gifts, where it's like, you may have this because you did a nice thing for me, or you may have this because you were behind. Not everyone may draw 3 extra cards a turn.
Yeah.
Unless that is specifically your win con is mill, or like a Kami at the Crescent Moon or something like that.
This is why you need Moto, Joe, so that you can play cards online.
Definitely. I've been trying to look into Moto to see if that's something, with everything going on, it definitely seemed like it would be a good investment to kind of start doing that.
Yeah.
I would have to find a commander, a deck, something that would be fun to play, or something I could kind of start out with. It looks like Ryan said that the high school, so it's Spiritfish High School, he's the teacher for them. They were actually wanting Phage also for us to include that with the command beacon. So they kind of had the same thought we did. It looked like one of his kids used it in a Trada deck. So.
Oh yeah, Atrada's cool. I almost built that deck.
Atrada's very cool.
Moving on.
Tricky to make work, but very cool.
Joe, this is where you rap the tricky song.
Tricky.
Oh, man. I wasn't prepared for that one.
Word. So this is from Ursa. Roar of Jukai.
Yeah, I have never seen this card before, and it is gnarly.
Yeah. You want to read it then?
Sure. Roar of Jukai is 2 and a green for an arcane instant. If you control a forest, each blocked creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And it has splice onto arcane, and it's an opponent gains 5 life. So I never played with arcane spells, and my understanding of how they work is 0. So maybe one of you can explain what the splice onto arcane actually means.
Basically, if you play another card that has like the arcane subtype, if you have a splice into the arcane, you can play it for the splice cost, which there's not really one. Wait, you may release it from your hand and pay its
It's
splice.
you an opponent gains 5 life. Splice onto arcane,
Oh,
and opponent
yeah.
pays
I'm
5
sorry.
life.
I thought it was you gain 5 life. Yeah. So you opponent pays gains 5 life. You choose. This could be like some friend making time, and then this will like attach to it for that cost rather than the 2 and a green.
Okay.
I don't know that splices onto the arcane too often, but I can see splicing something else on it maybe.
Yeah.
But man, block creatures +2/+2 until end of turn. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And it's
I love a
instant.
combat trick, and I think we're really getting a lot of the commanders that support combat tricks that like give you enough card advantage or give you enough that let it scale a little bit more on a commander level. Um, like I mean, the one that everybody thinks of is Feather, but I think the new Teamer one works really well with combat tricks. What's his
Stegosaurus?
name? The Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you can do
Stormfire?
you can do some insanely broken stuff with the Calamax.
I think that's it. Right.
Yes, Calamax, the Stormsire.
Ryan's
Whenever
already
you
built.
cast your first instant spell each turn, if Calamax is tapped, you can copy that spell. You may choose 3 targets for the copy. So he's a great commander for doing really cool, big combat tricks, and obviously really insane, broken stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Ryan's working on his own version of that deck.
Uh-oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
he's
it's
super cool.
scary.
I'm glad it
Yep.
copies just what is it? Instant spells?
Just instance, and it's only your first instant.
Which is good because I know for Ryan, most of the what is it? It's only there's one extra turn spell that's an instant, right?
Yeah,
it's the shuffle one.
It's
Nexus
of
of
Fate. Yeah.
Yep.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, this one's from Rachel Weeks, guest of the week.
What?
Yeah.
From
Man,
me.
I remember this card from back because didn't this originally come out in like Urza's Saga or like it's an older card, right?
It is definitely an older card. I have an old border version of Pandemonium.
So, would you like to do the honors?
Pandemonium is a red. Oh yeah, is a red enchantment. For 3 in a red, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage to its power to target creature or player of his or her choice. So, it is essentially a Warstorm Surge for everyone at the table.
Dear Lord.
Which I love so much. I like Pandemonium is one of my favorite cards. I run it in my Rakdos Lord of Riots deck. Because it tries to go fast and it plays a lot of big creatures and especially a lot of big creatures in a turn. And obviously the more damage you've done in a turn, the bigger, freer things you play. But the risk with Pandemonium is, of course, that you're playing against another creature deck that can make a lot of use of Pandemonium. But I think it's worth it. I think it's so like people in Commander shy away from symmetrical cards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they're dangerous, and of course they're dangerous. But I feel like they make for a bigger and splashier game. Like they make for more stories. They make for insane stuff that you didn't prepare this combo for, but now you're working with new guidelines and a new situation that you have to operate under, and it's cool. It adds to the puzzle of Commander. So I'm a big fan of Pandemonium. I'm a big fan of the 1-drop red enchantment that gives every creature haste. Why not? Let's see what happens, you know? obviously you want to be benefiting the most from these cards, but if you're running, like in my Rakdos Lord of Riots deck, if I'm running, odds are, the scariest creatures at the table, we're in good shape. Like maybe I'll, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You lose?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose anyway.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think this card pairs really well with sneak attack. And what's that?
Yeah.
What's the commander that does the sneak attack? I forget.
The
The new
Perfuro?
Perforos,
Yeah,
or
Perforos.
Ilharg.
Oh yeah, Phil Harg.
Yeah, so like those cards with this like make it seem amazing as well, in my opinion. Like, I think this is a cool card that does cool things. I don't usually play creature based strategies as much, but like
Yeah.
if I were, I'd be playing this.
I think Through the
Also,
Breach
it's a
kind of
4-drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems real cheap.
And they didn't punish red for having this and making it like one red, red, red. Like it's just 3 in a red.
Right.
So you could
Yeah.
definitely get this out probably pretty quick.
It's super splashable, and I like it because I don't even run Warstorm Surge in Rakdos because a 7-drop is just too much. It comes down way too late for a deck that wants to win turn 5, wants to win turn 6, or at least have a very big turn on turn 6, rather than spending another setup enchantment. So I think it lends itself to a deck that wants to get big creatures on the battlefield as fast as possible, which is a very Timmy style, but it can be a whole lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of Pandemonium.
Ooh, so look like Ryan asked, what do you think about this in Valduk? Valduk is the mono red commander that I think when you put auras or equipments, he makes elementals. I think they're like 3. This would probably be really good in that, actually.
It'd be huge in Valduk. It also curves around him beautifully.
Yeah.
Turn 3 Valduk, turn 4 swing with Valduk, or play Pandemonium, swing with Valduk. Ooh.
I'm impressed with the art on this one too, because they have like the old school goblins. These are the ones I remember seeing my dad play. The elves, I'm guessing it's the elves because Lord of Leaves for Eladamri. They kind of have the Braveheart thing going on with the blue faces, but
you don't like swing your sword at goblins with blue face paint?
I will tell you the one crazy loop I got into. We were playing. I was playing in an EDH pod where a couple people were borrowing my decks. So one player was playing Rakdos and another player was playing my Sidisi deck. Hang on, I gotta look at the name of this card.
I'm gonna talk about something.
But the Rakdos player played. There it is. The Rakdos player played Pandemonium on turn 3, and then Sidisi on turn 5 played Undead Alchemist.
Oh.
Which says, if a zombie you control would deal damage to a player, instead that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library into their graveyard. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from his or her library, exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. The way that Pandemonium is worded, the creature does the damage. So Undead Alchemist was preventing the damage, milling cards, making another zombie, dealing 2 more damage, milling cards. If they hit a creature, they were doing another one. And the way my Sidisi deck scales, you just make a lot of zombie tokens. So they ended up decking the table because Undead Alchemist was on the board with Pandemonium.
I think I heard you talk about this once. That's insane.
Did I? It was wild. Yeah, I think I talked about it on the Command Zone, or Commanders on the Command Zone. You know that episode I was on, the Commander Sphere, our podcast, the Commander Sphere.
Right. That's probably where I heard it. That's just, I don't know. That's the kind of story I like to hear out of Magic games.
And that's why I like symmetrical games like that, because that deck wasn't designed to do that. But you're like, what? I think this just keeps happening. It's awesome. It's a cool thing. I recommend.
All right. I think, Joe, you're going to be into this next card.
Oh.
Or not.
Oh.
It's Rachel's card again, sorry.
Ooh. Grand Melee. So it's a 3 and a red. Sorry, I just jacked this one from you, Rachel.
Go for it.
It's an enchantment. All creatures attack each turn if able, and all creatures block each turn if able. And the flavor text is the flavor text is hot blood washes away cold reason.
This card is also so much fun.
Yeah, it seems like it would be.
I have a Kenrith deck, and it's forced attack
Okay.
stuff. It's like it's a pill of 40, and a lot of it is forcing your opponents to attack, with a little bit of like hunted cards to give them creatures and all that.
This is like the Kenrith Goad deck, right?
It's a Kenrith Goad deck, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm working on a new build of it to make it a little bit more efficient. But cards like Grand Melee are so much fun because they force the players who are so used to sitting back with their utility creatures to play Timmy Magic, like just to start bashing heads and try and figure out what, like, it's another universal effect that forces people to figure out how to play the game in front of them rather than play the game they've designed with their deck.
Right.
Where like it doesn't let you sit back and like just build a board state to establish your combo. It forces you to live now and figure out how your creature doesn't die now. And I think that's very cool. I think it's fun to warp the game for the table and make sure everybody's, doing the same thing.
I have a Greven. It's the new Greven. Rakdos Greven. And it's a Go deck, and I definitely have this in here. I haven't built it yet because some famous other Asian guy built a Greven deck, and it got real popular. And I was like, oh well, I'm gonna be thing I can't say because if I admit it, then I'm not one, and I'm not gonna build this.
Zack, I would say for Grand Melee, this definitely seems like it would help out your Emery Voltron deck that you built.
Yeah, my Emery Voltron deck would be great in it.
Yeah, because Emery is definitely a card you want to attack with and not just tap and do artifact shenanigans.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is, like, I would never play Emery as my commander. She's always in the 99.
Yeah.
She's in the 99 of my whatever Boros plus blue is. I guess that's Jeskai. Yeah.
Jeskai.
Yep. So let's see.
I assume if you built Goad and not Grenzo, what he just said his name?
Greven.
Greven. You have this card in it, but if you do not, please put Rite of the Raging Storm in your Greven deck because it's insanely good with Greven.
I'm like getting a thing to write this down on. What is this card called?
Rite of the Raging Storm. It's 3 red. Creatures named Lightning Rager can attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts a 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rager into the battlefield. It has trample, haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this creature.
Wow.
So with Greven, nice. So with Greven, it gives you a free draw 5, pump 5, or no, draw 1, pump 5. What is the? I don't remember which one it is, but it's a free token to sack every turn.
Dope. I need
that is forced to hit your opponents every turn, so it's doing 5 damage to your opponents on their turn, but on your turn you can you draw 5 cards and you lose 1 life. That's what it is. And
Word.
You pump him +1/+0. But it's a free 5 cards every turn. If you have Greven on the table.
I do love drawing cards. Hey, Joe, have you talked to CVD about that thing?
About that thing. Talk to CVD about that thing.
That's a week from now.
Of course.
I have. Did you really?
Yeah, I asked him.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it.
Is he in?
I don't know. It just depends. We could talk about it after this stuff. I know. Congratulations to CVD. Him and his wife actually just got a house. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
I'm homeowners, I believe. So.
You got a basement I can live in, dude?
He might. He was showing off the basement space he had. He was talking about podcasts, content creation, playing his Corval deck. So.
Yeah, everyone needs a content creator gnome to just like be like, I don't know, like fetal style sleeping in the corner, and they're like, oh, we need my content creator gnome, and just like pokes me with a stick or with a water, just sprays me down with a water hose. He's like, actually. What we got next? I think this is for you, Joe.
Uh-oh.
You want to read it?
See, I thought that last one was also for me. Rachel, would you like this one since I stole yours?
Oh, sure, that's fine. False Dawn. It's 1 and a white for a sorcery. It says colored mana symbols on all permanents you control and on all cards you own that aren't in play become white until end of turn. Draw a card. Interesting. It's a mono white cantrip.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's pretty cheap. I don't know exactly what you do with it. Colored mana symbols. I mean, it's mana fixing. It's great. You pay 2 to mana fix, but I don't know
white
it.
card draw.
Yeah, it's white card draw.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, it's a yeah. The most I can think for it is like, is just a white cantrip. Deck thinning.
Yeah.
I mean, the art is unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. I like it.
Is that Lord Windgrace chilling in the middle there? It's not, but it looks like a kitty in an elaborate robe.
It does look like Windgrace that is there. They also look like they're staring into one of the eclipses that you're not supposed to stare into.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it looks like the end of Rogue One.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, it looks like a Star Wars movie.
Like the horizon is exploding on them.
Yeah, they're hugging.
False Dawn. Ooh, that's spooky.
Hugging.
Yeah,
until
this
they
one
die.
I definitely thought was interesting. I saw somebody post it on Twitter, and I was like, let me throw this one in. I'll be interested to hear what people have to say about it. It's from what's this set? Apocalypse?
Sure.
I thought that's what the mana symbol was, the Phyrexian mask, the Yawgmoth mask that they have there.
I think it is.
I was trying to figure this one out. The colored mana symbols on all permanents you control and all cards you own that aren't in play become white. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the text from the gather.
Does it change the color of the card?
I don't. As written here, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But gather text changes sometimes.
Well, it is in 94 decks on EDA Trek. The number 1 commander is Kaikar. It's like adds to your storm count.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. Yes. It's
a cantrip, and I mean, there's a lot better cantrips in blue, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So the rulings on this are: the card's ability does not change the color of any permanents. The card's ability does not change any lands into planes.
Also, it seems really bad with Kaikar because you make all this red mana that you can't spend on anything. Yeah. I guess it just adds to your storm count, and it's a cantrip.
That's what it looks like. All right, Joe.
Interesting.
This next one's for you. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. This is actually from Ben Hall, a good friend of mine, and you got some stuff from him, right, Joe?
I believe so, yeah.
Beard stuff? Do you like it?
Definitely. The stuff that I got from it was really nice. It's been keeping my beard silky smooth, which I believe is how your beard's supposed to feel.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure. Somebody asked me the other day how long I've been growing a beard or when I was able to. And I was like, since college. And then it was a sad realization that it was basically the past 2 years since I've lived in California. So something about the Cali air that helps rejuvenate you.
Man, maybe I need to come there. Like, I shaved at the beginning of this because I accidentally messed up my mustache, and I took the mustache off, and then I would just have the beard. And I was like, this looks real dumb, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna shave it off. But it's grown back fairly quickly for me. Usually it takes like 3 months.
Yeah, I would say for me, I've been more tempted. I think I'd mentioned this before to Zack and Max, but for everybody else, my wife, she has like darker hair, but she has like blonde streaks or highlights in it. And she has like some specialized shampoo that's supposed to help keep it that color. And I always like eye it, and I'm like, I bet I could use that. But then I'm also terrified it's just gonna bleach my beard like pure white. So
it's always like Joe the Gandalf.
So one of these days,
you would be Boros.
Yeah,
gross.
If I come on the show and my beard is white, it's not the stress from work or anything else. It's definitely I finally gave in to temptation and used shampoo that was forbidden.
That's what happened to my hair. Work's been crazy, and it's just it's reddish now.
Yeah, you're like me. You've been spending too much time.
Yep, we hang out too much. No, I'm bleaching it again tomorrow to get it to be. I'm gonna eventually be blue. So let's read what
I
Energy
like
Flux does. What's up?
I like the energy that your hair has been giving off. It's definitely a flux.
Energy Flux.
I tried.
You tried. You
It's
got
bad.
there ish. So yeah, you can't hit the ball if you don't swing, Joe. I
Nope.
appreciate it. I love you, Joe. So Energy Flux, 2 and a blue for an enchantment. All artifacts have at the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 2. I hate this card.
Brittle.
Like,
Uh,
I mean, would I put this in my Kinrith deck? Yes. If I saw it played against my Emery deck, I'd be sad.
Yeah, I had this card played against my old Battle Cruisy Brutaclad deck, and I was like,
oh.
cool, I concede.
Right?
Like I'm in Is It? I have no way to deal with that. I can't pay for any of these. Like, good game.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot of fun at all.
Well, cards like this, for at least like artifact based decks, like Emery or something, it's like Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace just shuts it down. It's like, okay, well, good game, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, this I think there are ways to handle a board full of artifacts that are not this card.
Right.
There are lots of cards that blow up all artifacts. There's lots of cards that blow up your opponent's artifacts or target removal or double
Yeah.
targeted removal. And I don't think run Bane of Progress over Energy Flux. Run there's a
Vandal Blast.
There's a blue instant that returns all artifacts to your hand.
Yep.
That is a huge blowout without turning off your opponent's whole deck.
Right. Like those
called reassemble or something.
Those do like similar things in terms of getting rid of the artifacts. With it's not there aren't any feel bads. If someone played this, I'd be kind of annoyed. I'd understand. I wouldn't be mad, but I'd be but like, you Vandal Blast me or you Force of Vigor me or Corrosion Grip or whatever. I'm just like, okay, that's how the game goes.
Right. Removal, absolutely. But when it's an enchantment, especially when you're in blue and you do not have an answer to enchantments, it feels so bad.
It does.
Like, I think a way better card in this slot is a card like Rebuild. It's 2 and a blue. It's a blue instant. It says return all artifacts to owner's hands, and you can cycle it for 2. So if you're not playing against, like, if this isn't the card you want, if there isn't a big artifact like situation on the table, you can cycle it away. But it still is like a huge blowout if you're worried about dealing with an artifact deck. But yeah, you're definitely going to get some feel bads with cards like Energy Flux.
That's what I'm going to put in Kinrith.
Rebuild was a really good suggestion, Rachel. I see that it was for Modern Horizon. It looks like it has cycling too. So for all the cycling decks that they have coming out, that would be good.
Yeah, I think Rebuild is a really solid deck. I think it's definitely meta dependent. If you are running into a lot of really broken artifact decks, then it's something that you slot in. Otherwise, I just run your typical targeted artifact or enchantment removal. But if you're worried about artifacts and you're thinking about Energy Flux, consider Rebuild. Yeah. The nice player version.
Keep your friends.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, or just Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, there we go.
Will do the trick.
Always Rift.
Always Rift.
So we got 2 cards submitted to us by the CCO podcast. I'm thinking more along the lines of just straight up Ryan, but I think this is he wants me to talk about that time that he got by the Zack. So the first card is Grafdigger's Cage. It's a 1-cost artifact. It says creature cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. And then Twilight's Call. It's 4 black for a sorcery. You may cast Twilight's Call anytime you could cast an instant. If you pay 2, I think it says 2 more to cast it. Each player returns all creature cards from his or her graveyard into the battlefield. So last year we did a rotisserie draft for charity at Vegas, and we all drafted these cards, and we all had to have different cards. Since this is a rotisserie draft, and I saw that Ryan had, and I was wanting to try to get graveyard removal anyway, because that's kind of a prevalent thing now, graveyard stuff. Mm-hmm. And I saw that for his commander, Ryan had picked Hogak, and I'm like, oh god, it's on. So we're playing in this game. It's me, and then on my left is CC Orion, and then in front of him was Joe, and then next to Joe was um Dana Roach from CMDR Central, and so I think Dana was already dead, right? We killed Dana.
I believe so, yeah.
And then I had Graph Digger's Cage out pretty early, like probably turn 1, turn 2, just because I had it in my hand. I was like, oh, I'll play it. And then CC Orion tries to play Twilight's Call, and then Joe's like, nuh-uh. And he was just like,
because the Graph Digger's Cage was just sitting there, so it was something that we all hadn't seen. It was going to be this huge kind of play.
Yeah.
And then we saw the Graph Digger's Cage, and we're like, wait, like none of this happens. So it was a big wah wah, like air out of the blue.
And then Joe stabbed me in the back.
And then we continue to give him grief about it. But how do you feel about Graveyard Hate? Or I guess for this one, it's Graveyard Hate, but it's not like an exile, so it's not really a rest in peace. How do you feel about Graveyard Hate, Rachel?
I don't mind Graph Digger's Cage at all. I think, but I'm of this similar mind of like static effects that are difficult to deal with. I would most often I would rather run a one-time removal spell. Like I would rather run you tap it to remove target card, and then you can sacrifice it to remove the whole
Relic of Progenitus.
I think Relic of Progenitus is a better option, just because it doesn't shut down the whole deck. It shuts down, like, it's removal.
Right.
Yeah.
So it takes care of the things that you need to take care of without saying you can't do the things your deck wants to do.
Right. So, in response
but Graph Digger's Cage is it's an artifact. It's very easy to handle. It's a 2-drop. Like, there's 100,000 ways to get rid of Graph Digger's Cage, and every deck is prepared.
Is that mathematically true? Did you count on Scryfall?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I googled it.
I like it.
Answers to Graph Digger's Cage.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing with like Relic of Progenitus, right? He casts this in response. I pop it, get rid of his graveyard, and then we move on with the game. He can keep playing. Whereas
he can rebuild.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was the new one?
Just sits there. Oh, I love that card. Soul Guide Lantern.
Yeah.
So good. I think Soul Guide Lantern should be in arguably every deck.
Okay. Well, I think for Soul Guide Lantern too, you can even if you're a graveyard deck, you're gonna play it to try to like nuke everybody else's graveyards.
Yeah. Soul Guide Lantern only hits opponents, I believe. Yeah. Where I think Relic of Progenitus hits all.
Yeah, Soul Guide Lantern. Tap it.
Exile each opponent's graveyard. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You were on that one. But I feel like Soul Guide Lantern is good. I feel like that one definitely takes the place of Relic of Progenitus now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think just because it has the ETB trigger and then the draw card replace it is a really big deal.
Yeah.
Also, just hitting opponents' graveyards is a big deal. Almost every EDH deck wants to maintain their graveyard.
I mean, pretty much everybody can play out of their graveyard now. It almost feels like.
Yeah, I mean, green has to hand recursion, black and white have to field recursion, blue probably has the least.
Yeah.
Red has a lot of like return to hand type stuff. Also, they now have the red enchantment that'll do, or a lot of flashback stuff, a lot of spellsy stuff. I suppose blue has that as well.
Mr. Sullivan, I would. He asked, "What's your opinion on playing mono black aristocrats and someone turn 0 drops Leyline of the Void, scoop, rage play?" I would say depending on the deck, I'd probably play, see what happens. Maybe someone takes it out for me. I don't know. If the game just for me, if it like isn't going, it's a non-starter for me. I would just concede and say, hey, like, you got me. It's cool. No worries. Find another game or play the next one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at this just because it's a game. And if you're not having a nice time, you don't have to play it. And there's a way to be like, I am not going to have a nice time playing this version of this game, so I'm just going to say I'm beaten and walk away.
Yeah.
And that maintains like your evening and your time.
Right.
Um, Dan's very good about that. We talk about it a lot on the podcast, is being able to scoop in a way that's concedes but still like prioritizes your time and your nice evening with your friends, you know.
Right. Like this happened to me straight up. Like it was me, Ryan, uh, someone named Lara, I believe. Sorry, and then this other guy, and it was like, and PJ actually. It was like a five. We ended up being a 5-player game, and like this guy like was like, "Hey, you only have fifth," and we were like, "Not really." And then he sits down to play, and he's playing like some sort of crazy, really bad stack, and Lara just says, "Hey, like this game isn't my speed. Like I'm no ill will to you guys or anybody else, but I don't want to play that." And like you said, it keeps you from getting in a bad situation where you're kind of salty about it, because let's be real, we all get salty a little bit, and
Sure.
you know it doesn't ruin your whole evening. You can go play another game and be fine. Whereas if you just sit that out, you're gonna get more and more pissed.
Right.
So that's
You can't. Yeah. When Magic isn't fun, you don't have to play it.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why we're pretty careful with who we play with too. We know who plays our speed and whatnot. PJ definitely.
Well, I think having the conversation is so important.
Yeah.
Understanding what kind of game everybody's wanting. I
Right.
think that's the most important thing, really, when you're playing Magic. You want to make sure everybody's having fun, because we play this game for fun.
Yeah.
Right. That's all this is for. And like we play multiplayer, so winning happens 25% of the time
Unless
rather than 50% of the time.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Unless you're certain kinds of players or whatever. But that's not what it's about ultimately, but you do want to be able to play. And I feel like running cards, I like Leyline of the Void in EDH. If you're playing casual Magic, like let other people play casual Magic too,
Right.
you know.
That's why I don't like things like Back to the Basics or Blood Moon too.
In casual metas, I think it's really tough.
Yeah, I mean in modern I get it, but
sure, yeah, if you're playing like 1v1, it's you can do anything.
Yeah.
And you just win, and then you shuffle up and you play another 15-minute game.
Right.
Yep.
The other graveyard hater I wanted to mention, because I'm a big fan, is Remorseful Cleric.
Oh yeah.
What does that do?
It's a 2-drop M19 rare, and it's just a 2/1 that flies. Sacrifice Remorseful Cleric, exile all cards from target player's graveyard.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to recur. Sacrifice for free. It flies, which is great. Like there's just a bunch of utility on it, and it's I think that's always a card I'm willing to pick up. It's like a Selfless Spirit, but it's graveyard hate.
Legit.
That one's really good.
Yeah.
So this next card was one of my kitchen table favorites. Thawing Glaciers.
Yeah.
It's a land. It comes into play tapped. You pay 1, tap it, search your library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. This does not count towards your 1 land per turn. Shuffle your library afterwards. At the end of turn, returning Thawing Glaciers to its owner's hand. I used to think this card was ramp. It's straight up not ramp. It's basically the opposite of ramp. But like I'll still play it in like in a 5-color deck or a 4-color deck. I'll play this for the fixing, honestly.
Yeah, and a cheap mana base?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for real. What do you got? Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, this one definitely seems interesting. I'm liking the art. I feel like anytime I look at these cards, I'm like, what's going on in this art? And it's
So
cool
beautiful.
to see the relationship that these two have. It looks like they're letting them kind of play in the water, clean a fish, do something like that.
Yeah, this art's amazing.
Trying to get some reprieve from Illicit. That was attached earlier.
It's like my
So
child.
this definitely, what I was gonna say too, as far as ramp, at first I was like, oh okay, this could work well, but it comes in taps, then you have to return it to your hand. Seems like it's one of those where you're like, oh okay, never mind. But yeah, for a budget list, totally. I build budget decks for some of the kids that I play with, and so this might be one that I decide to try to pick up, just so we can talk about ramp or not ramp.
Yeah, it's a pretty cheap
what's
card.
What's the colorless land that cycles for 1? It's got land cycling.
Uh,
Ash Barrens.
Yeah,
I feel like Ash Barrens is maybe just better.
probably.
But
You only do Ash Barrens once though.
you can only do Ash Barrens once. That's true. But I do like Thawing Glaciers in a deck that you want either A, you're going to hit multiple land drops,
Yeah.
like a green rampy deck, or something that it matters that you're hitting land drops. You always have this land in play.
Yeah.
Like something it's easy to bounce. It's easy to like keep. You always have a land to cycle or to do whatever you need to.
I totally agree with you, Dan. I play Thawing Glaciers in my my Oathbreaker Lord Windgrace deck, and it's dope and does dope things.
There you go, for sure.
Landfall, yeah.
Definitely helps with landfall triggers, without having to run, all the crazy expensive or crazy slow fetches. Although it's not super quick, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I like this card. I'm pro this.
Yeah, this seems good.
Legit. So the next one is Reconnaissance. Who wants to read this one? Oh,
I've read a bunch.
Actually, my bad. This was from Anton All Hell Bolus. I forgot to say. I'll read this one. Okay. Reconnaissance. It's 1 white, enchantment 0. Remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. That creature neither deals nor receives combat damage this turn. I think this card's real good.
Oh yeah, Reconnaissance is sort of. It's an uncommon. Hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Right. It's probably like $10 too.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey. But like the floor on this is all your creatures get vigilance, and the ceiling is you save your creatures from bad combat situations.
Yep.
Which is a pretty good floor and ceiling.
And also, it doesn't cost you anything.
It's 1 mana. Like, it's so cheap. Yeah. If you're playing a combat deck and you've got white in it, Reconnaissance you're never going to be unhappy to have that on the table.
But definitely if you're trying to just get like an attack trigger off of something, I feel like this would be great. Like, who was the new Boros, the Winota? I wonder if this would be good in her.
For sure. I definitely ran Reconnaissance in Najeela. When I had that, it was Warrior Tribal. It was fine. It was like slivers. It went off too fast and people killed me for it.
Nice.
So I don't know if Najeela ever actually won a game because everybody's like, kill it.
Get it.
But it's great in that. I think now, for a little while, I ran it in a Derevi Merfolk tribal deck.
Oh, okay.
Because the untap was a real big deal. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Reconnaissance.
This would probably be good in like a Zur deck too if you're doing enchantments.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, Zur.
Great.
So our last card here.
Kalia seems real good.
This is
yeah, lots of things.
This is from Green. Yeah, this is a silver border card. Ryan loves his unsets. I asked him for a card, and this is a pretty crazy card. It's the ultimate nightmare of Wizards of the Coast, with a little R in a circle. Customer service. It cost XYZ red. Of course, it would be red.
It's on a blue card.
Yeah, on a blue frame. The ultimate nightmare of Wizards of the Coast. Customer service deals X damage to each of Y target creatures and Z target players. I love the flavor text. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific, and then a number. I bet that used to be their customer service number.
I'm sure it was.
What if you could still call that?
We should do that live on a call on one of these. Like, just start prank calling people. That'd be hilarious. Take that down as a note, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be making note of that one. The art too. It looks like Minotaur is getting roasted.
Yeah.
God, I couldn't even parse that.
What's that? It's like, well, no, it looks like there's a guy in the upper left-hand corner throwing something at like a demon in the middle right side, I think.
Rachel, you're saying Narset, right?
What? Yeah, I said I couldn't parse this. Sorry.
I
couldn't figure out what the art was doing.
Oh, they said that looks like Narset. I was like, okay, cool, true.
Oh, no. It's got a real Pizza the Hut vibe going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of a mishmash of cheese and pepperoni.
See, when I saw it, I was thinking like bacon. Like they're getting bacon to death.
Yeah. That's not bad.
I see that. I was thinking hot lava personally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think lava is the intention or some kind of flame.
I have no idea what's going on in this card. This is a very Ryan uncard. But sorry Ryan, it's not legal in well, no, there was channel, so but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is kind of a fun card. And Ryan has ways. I mean, there are ways to make a lot of mana in red. With
Mana Geyser.
Yeah, Mana Geyser and Seething Song and all those types of things. I think this could be fun.
Yeah.
You know how Ryan loves his mono red decks. So, yeah, that's.
I love a big X spell, you know?
Yep.
Maybe this goes in the Heb.
Oh, true.
I love, like, one of our favorite cards is Electro Dominance. Ryan cast it for like 25 one time to kill someone, and he just straight up countered it. It was the intern TH, and Ryan was so sad. I was like, you got.
Oh, that's always so sad. I feel like if you're gonna dump a bunch of mana in it, you need to have a backup plan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's nothing more sad than a green player trapping out too for a Genesis wave and it getting countered.
That's the worst. So that pretty much wraps it up for this week's episode. Just want to give a shout out to our LGS Mothership Books and Games. You can order any of these cards that we talked about earlier and more at store.mothershipatx.com. We have some affiliate codes that are good for April. Social Ship gets you free shipping on orders of $50 or more, and Social 10 gets you 10% off of in-stock MTG singles. So, if you want to contact us, you can find us the stream's Twitter account that we made. It's at Magic Card Talk. And then I'm at Z4CK. Joe, where can they find you?
And I'm at Ginger Joe, and the zero. It's a zero because I'm a zero. That's the joke we always make. Oh, it's a zero. So just wanted to thank Rachel for coming on the show, talking Magic cards with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great.
Definitely go check her out. Follow her on Twitter. Check out the playmats that she makes. They're awesome. Make sure you're listening to the Commander Sphere.
Yeah,
it's a great podcast.
Yeah, do you wanna pimp your business again, Rachel?
Sure. You can follow the Commander Sphere on Twitter at Command Sphere, and then you can follow me at Wachel Reeks, WACHELREEKS. I had somebody call me that Reeks girl, which is pretty fun.
I got real confused with your Twitter. I was typing it out for something, and I was like, because I'd seen the Wachel part, and I was like, oh, it's like Wabbit. And then I was like, Wachel Reeks. I was like, what? And then Ryan's like, it's a portmanteau. And I was like, I thought that was like a wine or something. He's like, no, it's this. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's just my initial flips. I thought it would be cute, and it's mostly confusing. I
think it's good.
But it's fun. So if you follow me there, that'll have links to Inked Gaming, and that'll have links to the Command Sphere as well. So awesome.
And also want to say check out my main podcast, Commander Social, that I co-host with Ryan Green. We're usually on Wednesdays. We're not doing video right now because it's hard. So there's another thing here. Yep. So want to say thanks for watching. Hope everyone likes the new logo that we had done. Joe, what do you think about it? You like it?
I think it looks awesome. I definitely feel like they got the beardness of my beard. Thank you again to Interact Paul for helping out with that one. Just wanted to say to everybody, thanks for coming, chatting with us.
Thanks again, Rachel.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, thank you again, Rachel. It's Earth Day, so hope you guys got to enjoy the Earth. Take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Go easy on yourself. Make sure you're doing your self-care and you're checking up on each other.
Absolutely, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take it easy. Oh, hey, Ryan, we were just talking about you, but now we're leaving.
All right.
All right. Peace out, everyone.
Bye, everybody.